This week, we are given the opportunity to build a home for Hashem. The hide of a tachash was used to cover the ark. It may have been an animal nearly 50 feet long that had a single horn, possibly a unicorn, and its skin was made up of 6 different colors. We are told about the showbread that was baked fresh and delicious, but wasn't eaten until a week later, and somehow it didn't get stale. About a menorah that had an intricate design with flowers and cups and knobs that had to be made from one piece of gold that made itself when you threw the gold into the fire. There's a detailed description of the long wooden rods that carried the ark, but our sages teach us that the ark traveled under its own power. The act of carrying was only an illusion. And according to the Talmud, the Aron HaKodesh did not take up physical space. It was there, visible, but bigger than the space it occupied, and yet it still fit. The materials for the Mishkan were donated by the people, who gave so generously that Moshe had to tell them to stop. And the actual construction was performed by a team of men and women led by Bezalel and Ahaliav. Bezalel was from a prominent family from the tribe of Yehuda. Ahaliav was from the simplest of origins, from the humble tribe of Dan. Everyone contributed according to his or her abilities. We are all intertwined. We are all one. We are part of the golden menorah, hammered out of one piece that Moshe couldn't figure out how to make, so Hashem made it himself. There's a story about a rabbi who was on a panel discussing the end of days, and the lecture was going really well until a woman stood up and said, "That was really very interesting, but what's going to happen to the largest part of the Jewish community, the unaffiliated, the alienated, or those Jewish people who don't know anything about their Judaism? What's going to happen to them at the end of days?" He answered with a story about a Rebbe and one of his students who came up to him and said, "Rebbe, you always talk about the simple Jews, but what about the ones that are learned? What about us?" So he said, "You're a diamond dealer. Can you bring me some diamonds and I will pick out the one that's the most valuable?" So he picks up the biggest and the shiniest, and the diamond dealer says, "Rebbe, you're so wrong. That's not the most valuable." And the Rebbe answered, "And that's how it is with souls. Only Hashem knows how great a soul is. Souls are measured by the journey, by the struggle, and perhaps the souls on the most difficult journey have the most power. And in the end of days, perhaps it will be those simple Jews, along with the people who are unaffiliated and those who know little, who will be leading the way. And I will be honored to walk behind them." In the original master plan of creation, there was apparently only supposed to be a sun and a moon, but after reducing the size of the moon, Hashem decided to create stars to accompany the moon in the night sky. Rashi explains that this was a sort of consolation prize to the moon. The Jewish people are compared to stars. In order to cheer up the moon, Hashem created the stars. The role of the stars and the Jewish people who are compared to stars is to make those around them feel better about themselves, to see that they count, that everyone's voice is important in the harmony of Jewish voices. If one of us is quiet, something is missing. The book of Tehillim, the book of Psalms, starts not with praising Hashem, but Ashrei Ha'ish, praiseworthy is the man. We start by recognizing our own potential greatness, our own self-worth, and then as we develop ourselves, it overflows to include everyone we meet.